All right. Now we're all the way recording,
Hooray!
including with the overlay and all that crap. So,
Fantastic.
welcome everyone to making a TTRPG, technically 14.
Yeah, the first time that it is on the Patreon, so welcome to that.
Indeed, all of you who love this enough to pay for it and all that. So we appreciate you.
Mhm.
Yet, Hyperphase and I have we've been sitting here for about 4 hours already.
It's been a while now.
just just doing stuff, getting things ready so that you guys didn't have to sit through, hours and hours of us just figuring it out.
I'm trying to remember what we did last time and building off of that. And you guys missed
Yeah.
the recap that we
Yeah,
had
we
to
definitely
do.
did that too. But
Yeah.
thankfully, we did get quite a bit done. So we're just gonna quickly go over what we've done so that you guys get all the benefits of that. That was something completely unrelated that I just clicked on. Neat. So, hold on, let me see if this works. No, no, it's awful. Hold on. Back to this.
Um,
All right, we'll leave that
yeah.
there.
For those of you who maybe are, for some weird reason, the first time you're watching this, the previous 13 episodes are all up on YouTube for free, that you can get to. And
Yep.
we're picking up right where we left off on the last one, which is we're working on our classes, our player classes for the game. And
Yes,
we finished the last episode, we finished our face class. And so now we're diving into our soldier.
indeed. Um, so yeah, if like Dave said, if you want to see where all the other stuff we've done, they are much longer videos because we were doing them live. But you are more than welcome to go check those out. Uh, Otherwise, we're gonna keep these somewhat concise. We'll just kind of let you know what we worked on, break it down a little bit. We'll chit chat some about it, but otherwise, the soldier we came up with is going to get 5 body skills, 3 mind skills, and 2 soul skills. We still haven't done all the gear equipment stuff yet. Excuse me. So that's kind of skipped for now. Stamina, we're still mostly on the train of like it's usually 1 less stamina than their body rating
Yeah, for our
or
bonus
than
rules.
their
Some
body skill
some of
rating.
these, in fact, that we're about to talk about in a minute, are gonna go against that, but that's our
Yes,
general rule of thumb.
yeah. Some are the exceptions that make the rule, kind of thing. But yeah. So soldier's gonna get 4 stamina per level, which is pretty beefy. Four bonus stamina per level, which is pretty beefy. Stamina being the things you kind of have to chew through before you hit the hit points, depending on the type of damage being dealt. And then we're going to go right into their class features. One of the things that we saw being pretty cool about your soldier types is the augmentations they can have. I see a lot of these as not necessarily mechanical, right? Like some could be, you can flavor kind of however you want, but a lot of them are going to be like humor based, not necessarily like visual. There'll be things that are like implanted that they could utilize. We haven't done the granular work yet of going and like coming up with every single augmentation, just sort of the categories they can fall into. So, as you can see on screen here, uh, we got like stuff. Hold
Lots
on,
of
let me
stuff.
scoot this a bit.
Yeah. And I mean, so we're treating these a lot like
There.
bonus abilities kind of things, bonus skills, bonus boons in a way that how we're assigning them essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we haven't come up with our full list of boons and feat things yet, but we'll get to that. But these are kind of like an additional separate type so that these soldiers can really stack out their ability
Yeah.
to be effective in whatever way they choose.
Mm-hmm. So, and then allowing them to do things that like just training or practice or experience isn't going to do. Things that like increasing their ability to see, like the sight augmentation and the hearing and all that kind of stuff. And the deal with these is it's not like you just get the one. You're going to get one every odd level. And at that point, you can either pick a new augmentation and kind of start that path, or you can upgrade an already existing one. So
Yeah.
there'll be like multiple sight upgrades and hearing upgrades and all that kind of stuff. So you can like end up with just absurd sniper eyes.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm waiting for the person who's like, no, I have lizard tongue. I can taste the air. Let's rock it.
exactly.
I put all
'Cause
my odds into taste.
it
I
just yeah,
lick the ground and figure out where our opponents are.
exactly. He has excellent taste. But you can also have bones. For like durability, recovery, hardness of bones, muscles for your strength, endurance, and flexibility. Limbs, meaning stuff with your limbs, such as them being detachable or having
I,
extra
for
ones.
one, want to beat somebody with my detachable arm.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. Of like, someone like detaching their arm, giving it to someone else, and like it's like holding a knife, so they're just like fucking just jabbing it at someone while it's stabbing at them.
It's also the thing. It's like, we have they took all our weapons. You know, they captured us. They imprisoned us. They took all our weapons. Jokes on them. Chuck. I got a club. It's just like, dude,
Right?
what?
Or shit, like you could have like an augmentation where it's like you have like a freaking hidden blade in your arm or something crazy, right? You know, or like a gun. It's just
Gun hand. And it's just like, it's a single shot gun hand. It's my pointer finger is now a pistol barrel. You know, just like chop.
So yeah, just
Would
weird,
actually
crazy
be
shit like
rad.
that. That would be rad, dude. But yeah, tail is clear only because they're the ones with tails.
Yeah, we had to put that in there. Gotta include.
We had to. But the natty, so if you're unaugmented, what that does is it's going to give you additional boons, talents, and skills. Because instead of going through the rigorous surgery, recovery, and like training to get used to the augmentations, it is instead means that time has gone into honing other skills and abilities and things that you could otherwise have. So it is a valid option, and you don't have to go all in on that. Yeah. You can choose that at any level when you would get an augmentation to just get an extra boon, talent, or skill, even if you're already augmented. It just means you didn't choose to go further down the augmentation path at that level.
Yeah, you can go full natty and be a hyper like skill monkey, like super talent guy, or you can go partial and be like, oh, I just need these extra couple things to really round out my build, or you could just be all augmented super dude.
Yeah. But like, yeah, who needs skills when you have big, strong robot arms?
Yeah.
4 of them.
4 of them, exactly. I, for one, welcome our new Machamp overlords.
Right? So yeah, so that's dope. And then if you're familiar with 5e, you'll be familiar with their other ability, which is essentially an action surge. Once per long rest, they'll get an extra action or reaction, because our economy is 2 actions and a reaction. And you can use up your reaction to get a third action. You just can't react to anything at that point. You kind of lose your defense. But they can get an extra one of those once per long rest. And let's see, they get another one at 4th, 7th, and 10th.
Yeah, so by 10th level, you'll have 4 extra actions essentially per day, which is crazy ability to like manipulate action economy. And anybody who's played a turn-based game knows that action economy and your ability to manipulate it is just so powerful.
Yeah. So that could easily get scary, but we're going to leave it just because what it is for now. And the other thing to keep in mind is these are what we're doing here. These are all like the first level abilities. Some of them are projected for how they upgrade at later levels, but this is in no way like, oh, this is the entire thing the class gets. There will be other ones when we actually deep dive these classes later and show exactly what they get at later levels, right?
Yeah. It's gonna be
so yeah. So that's the soldier, and essentially it comes down to this thing being, this is your combat expert as far as like, all of their stuff is going to be geared towards mostly fighting and being damn good at it, and not only just dealing damage and being effective wherever they go, but also like surviving the combat. So right. they're going to have that in spades.
You can really, with the augmentation stuff too, you can really turn this person into a tank. You know, you can really turn this person into, a supreme damage dealer from range or close up. Yep. You can really make this thing adapt to what style you want to play. Or what role you feel needs to be filled around combat for the most part. But yeah, it's that they're filling that niche role that fighters do essentially, which is fighting things. You know,
Yeah.
you need something to
Doing
die.
what they say on the tin.
That's my gig right here.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, if you got ideas for your like adamantium boned Wolverine ass soldier,
Yeah.
they're in here.
Oh,
Adamantium
man.
doesn't
You could
exist,
even get knife hands, man.
but you could get knife hands.
Knife hands.
If you want like your
Stab people.
super robot-eyed sniper dude, this is where they are. If you just want to make like a weird snake man who can taste the air,
Taste the enemies. I taste them on the air.
just,
You
like,
mean
flicking
James
their
Earl
dugout.
Jones from Conan the Barbarian?
Right.
You know,
Which like we're making fun of it, but that's like a super fucking useful.
it is. Yes, as goofy as it is, I actually think it's really cool.
Like, it's be wild. Yeah. So yeah, these are going to be really versatile. There's going to be a lot of builds in that once because each of these categories, like let me see, you guys can see here. They're going to have multiple augments that you can have under them, so they're going to be pretty versatile. And then being able to just like pump up your action economy is going to be wild. Like these dudes are going to be real scary.
Yep.
But let's go on. Class number 9, we have our Peacemaker. This one was fun.
Yeah. And these guys are like what was the way you phrased it? You were like the arm of the church almost, right? Is that kind of
Yeah.
said it?
Yeah, they're kind of the arm of the church. They're in a way their role in society is they're kind of a stand-in for the Aviar, who in the lore were like the champions, anointed with divine power and such in like prehistory. They're long gone. They're long gone. So these are sort of the stand-ins for them. Think like an odd like special forces type of unit where they dedicate themselves to aspects of supernal forces and they are empowered by it. They're not spellcasters. They don't invoke. They don't actually even proclaim, which we'll talk about here in a moment. But go ahead. Sorry, Dave.
Oh no, they're a divinely juiced SWAT team.
Yeah.
Basically, it's gonna they're gonna be super cool, I think.
And you can see they're 4 body, 4 soul, 2 mind. That's their skill breakdown. So they're pretty damn beefy. The soul means they're gonna have a lot of drive.
Oh yeah.
Which means it makes them even harder to take out, like because you can spend drive for all sorts of successes and other shit like that. So they're gonna be pretty beefy, pretty hard to take down, and have a lot of options as far as like if they need to pull out all the stops, they have a lot of stops to pull out. So yeah, they get 3 stamina per level, which is good. Their main class feature is this dedication feature. I'm just making sure it's on screen here. There it is. Select a deity, which we have like a whole breakdown of those. This choice is final. It cannot be changed later. Each odd level, pick a dedication this deity allows. At 5th, you may select a dedication related to that deity's category. Instead, these dedication benefits are specified to the Peacemaker and not shared with the Proclaimer unless otherwise stated. Let's see, where did it go?
So we wanted to for the 5th level thing though, we wanted to give people like a little bit of an out-of-scope choice here. In that, let's say if you're a body deity, you could, instead of picking only from that deity, you could then pick one of the other body deities like things just to kind of like beef yourself up. And that way you kind of get a little bit of step out of your lane, so to speak, but that way you can kind of shore up a weakness you might have. But it's not going to be so much so that you're like way out of pocket doing something totally different.
And with that in mind also, so we went through and kind of pulled some keywords out of the descriptors for the deities so we would know what kind of dedications were available. And the deities are also separated into deities of the body, deities of the mind, deities of the soul. There's 3 deities of the body. You have Eos, Latum, and Shevin. 3 of the mind, the Sage, the Sigil, and the Sovereign. And 2 deities of the soul, Unicus, or Unisys, and the Crowd. And see, like, so for example, Eos, we figured out like 3 keywords each for the body deities because they're much more they're not like super spread out and versatile.
But you're gonna be able
So
to
like
like
Eos,
stack on these, like kind of how
yeah,
we were saying with the augmentations, where you can double up on like eyes or whatever. It's gonna be the same kind of thing. So that you shouldn't feel
mhm,
limited by being able to pick like Eos. Oh, there's only 3. I'll make it more. Well, you just double into strength or triple into strength. You know, if you want to be strong, this is the one to pick.
exactly. So yeah, Eos, strength, earth, and courage, for example. There's stuff for like for the mind. We have like the sage, which is like curiosity, fire, electricity, knowledge, motion. They have like a lot more breadth, but you still can only pick so many. The soul, we have like so the crowd is like drive, celebration, performance, desire, ambition. They all have like sort of these things to them, which we will come up with. We haven't dived it yet, so we haven't come up with like every single ability associated with them. But each of these will have specific benefits to them that you can double, triple, quadruple up on, or you can kind of pick between, like, let's say if you're dedicated to Eos, each time you get to pick between strength, earth, and courage. You don't have to go all in on strength. You don't have to go all in on earth. You don't have to go all in on courage. And then, like Dave said, that 5th level choice, you can pick any other deity of the body and grab something from them.
Or if you want,
So
you
if
can
you,
stay on Eos. If you really want to, like, super dive into something, you really feel
mhm,
like going all in on strength is the way to do it, then do it that way. You know?
exactly.
But
So
this
yeah,
gives,
those are
gives you
going
a
to be
little
cool.
bit of versatility.
Yeah. And those are going to be dope because we didn't get into it too much because we didn't get too much into Proclamation when we were talking about the Proclaimer. We did talk about the band, but
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
But yeah,
How could you
if
not?
you're familiar with like D&D, Pathfinder, stuff like that, you can think of the dedications as your domains for your clerics and such. Whereas a Proclaimer is going to get their spells and abilities from their dedication. The Peacemaker isn't going to get spells per se. They're going to get like different abilities that are going to fall under the same flavor, that same theme of these dedications. So if you go with strength dedications, obviously you can imagine they're going to have to do with your physical might. If you want earth, you're going to get cool earth powers, that kind of shit. Um, and oh yeah, the thing we kind of missed about Peacemakers, the archaic weapon and armor specialization. They're going to be the ones who are also really good with things that aren't firearms and that kind of stuff. They're going to be much better with your things like axes, swords, plate armor, that kind of shit, because they're the ones who'll actually walk around in it. Which means they're also going to be the ones who are very noticeable. You're really
Yeah.
not going to see someone walking around carrying a fucking warhammer and scale mail in this era unless it's like,
You're like,
oh,
yeah. That's definitely,
don't fuck with them.
Peacemaker. Yeah. You got it.
Yeah.
You know what's up.
So, yeah. And then their other ability, Peacemaker's Presence, we realized we didn't actually define our, like, saving throws and stuff, but I thought I had some notes on the idea that I had for it, and I didn't. But whatever that is, they're going to make those better for everyone who can see them
Yeah.
because they're
Yeah.
inspiring and awesome.
And like we said, they stick out very obviously, very
Yes.
noticeable. And these guys are the ones who are the super special SWAT that goes and fights the things that come out of the rifts, that goes and does the work of the church to protect the people. So you see this guy and you're like, oh, that guy's on the line with me, man. He's got my back, whatever.
Yeah.
I know this lady can kick ass, so it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna kind of give you that little like confidence boost.
Yeah. Like, these are the protectors of the people. It's like how they're seen. So, very paladin energy. We worked on that one. That one's fun. I think the next one, Pilgrim, might be my personal favorite so far.
It's up
Might
there for
be.
me too. It seems like it's gonna be really fun and interesting.
And it's hard to say, but yeah, this one I like. So, the Pilgrim, as you can see, 5 soul skills, 3 body skills, 2 mind. Um, nothing in gear. They get 3 stamina, so they're a little bit of an exception here, like we mentioned earlier.
Yeah, we gave them
Despite
a
having
little
3
more
bodies.
stamina than the norm.
Mm-hmm. Um, and this first one, the first ability we came up with, the Pilgrim's Path. I guess you came up with it, Dave. So if you want to
Oh,
describe it,
sure. Yeah. So the path, so we're basing the pilgrim around obviously the name, right? They're going on pilgrimages. That part of what they're doing is they're journeying to gain better understanding of the gods and the forces in the world and the supernal force. So these guys are going to be able to proclaim, but they're going to be able to proclaim in a much more narrow way than a traditional proclaimer. It's going to be based around the path, which is we're going to set up the path differently. We haven't deep dive, just like the same kind of thing for the other stuff. We know we're going to have paths, but we're not exactly sure how we're going to like lay them out. If we're going to have a path per god, or if we're going to maybe have an amalgamation path, and that's something we're trying to work on. But your paths are going to be a list of essentially like a spell and an ability, like one and one, and you get to pick between those as you level up to know what you do. So that way you kind of have that trade-off. It's going to be very much like almost like a video game skill tree decision style thing, and this way you can choose to either really be more of a proclaiming style one or more of an ability based one or mix and match. And so it gives you a lot of versatility on what path you want to walk as this pilgrim. And we also kind of got the idea for the spiritual weapon thing, which is going to be so cool. I think it's one of my favorite things. We were joking around about I was about being the man with no name from like Fistful of Dollars, and just using finger guns as like using that to like channel proclaim power. And then it's like, oh, that'd be super cool to do with stuff like that. Though it's like, yeah, Kuwabara Spirit Sword. Let's go. Like we're both big Yu Yu Hakusho fans, so you know.
Oh yeah.
It's just like, yeah, let's do it. It'd be rad.
Hell yeah. So yeah, those are gonna be really cool. Coming with the paths and like their abilities and what like weapon gets associated with them, that kind of shit. That is gonna be a really fun class to build. And then the next thing I really like is their destination ability. So with the Pilgrim, your abilities work better when you have a goal in mind, this being the destination in the class ability. A destination could be something like getting to a faraway place, or defeating a certain enemy, or finding the answer to a specific mystery. It's just something you like, they dedicate as this is the quest that they're on. We haven't got into, obviously, the exact abilities of the path yet, but those are also going to work better if you're on task. So, this sort of plays into the other part of the destination ability, which is the Pilgrim can, like, once a day ask a question. And this would be something like the player would probably do, right? It goes, hey, okay, I'm going to use my destination question today. I want to know if we should go left or right. If this pilgrim is trying to decide if they should go left or right at the supermarket, and their destination and their goal is in a whole other city to like to take down some corrupt official who's been like scamming people and stealing their food and putting people in chains, you're not really on task. So instead of getting like a good check, which would be something like a soul plus supernal forces, it's just a straight soul check to see if you get a good answer or not. If you get no successes, it's going to be hella vague, probably not helpful. If you get one success, it's going to be pretty fucking vague, but might be helpful. 2 to 3 successes, it'll be a much more readable sign of some kind of answer, and then more than that, you'll probably get a straight-ish answer. Which can be pretty tough with just an ability score for your dice. But if the left or right is you are in the I don't know, incredibly trapped Winchester manor of this city official, and you're trying to find your way through it, you go, okay, I need to know left or right because I don't want to fall into a bottomless pit for a second time. So then you're on task, you get a better check, you're probably going to have a better chance to get a good answer out of that. Obviously things that are binary like that too, harder to be vague. So, But either way, that's like my favorite feature of theirs, because not only does it give you as a player like a way to go to like kind of know you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and you got like a hint mechanic, but as a narrator, you have a player who's probably way more invested with keeping things going rather than just derailing all over the place.
Yeah, because one of the things we talked about is you can't just change your destination on a whim. You have to take
Mm-hmm.
there's kind of like two modes where you're on task, you're looking for your destination, or you're at rest. And in order to change your destination, you need to take a day of rest, which means you're gonna have a day of being off on all your abilities, basically, where you have no
Mm-hmm.
destination. You're loose to the world, and it's just like, so guys, I'm gonna be basically useless for this day because we had to change tasks. And I'm basically useless as a little exaggerating, but it's like I'm gonna be
Yeah.
way less effective today.
Yeah.
We can't keep changing what we're doing because I can't keep taking days of crap. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I need to stay on task, please.
Yeah. So, and we haven't built in the mechanic for like how long can you be doing off-task shit before you lose it.
Yeah.
We'll come up with that later, but there probably will be that eventually. So they are a bit more beholden to doing what they set out to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, and you might be able to find pilgrims in the world who are actually at rest. And I don't know about you, but I plan on playing them as being very, very much on vacation. When they're
Like,
in that
listen,
mode, it's like, don't ask me for shit, dude.
yeah,
Like, when I'm on, I am on. But when I'm off, leave me the fuck alone.
fuck alone. Yeah. Listen, dude, I've been sitting in this chair for 14 hours, and the next 14 hours I plan on sitting in this chair. And they're like, no, but we need your help. You can get bam. It's like
Tomorrow. I will help you tomorrow. That is tomorrow me's problem.
yeah.
Could you just ask your question? Mechanically, no, I can't. Please go away. Like, nope.
So jog on, mate. Yeah, they're gonna be fun. I think having Pilgrim NPCs is gonna be really fun. Like as a storyteller, getting to run through that, and then I think just playing that class is gonna be fun.
Hell yeah, dude. So yeah, this one's I really like this one. Cool, but that's our Pilgrim. Pilgrim. I think those are going to be dope. And then the last one we came up with, or the last one we actually worked on today, is our Shadow, which is also really dope. Probably in the running, also in the running for favorite.
I like it. It's very cool.
I forgot to highlight the thingamajigs or bold them. So the Shadow. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say the Shadow is cool. It's gonna. I was gonna start off with the skills. We went 4-4-2 on this one. So 4 mind, 4 body, 2 soul, and they get 3 stamina per level. So they're back on track with our regular style of doing this. The 3 bonus stamina. But we did something a little different with this one, where we gave them 3 abilities instead of 2, but one of the abilities comes with drawbacks. So how these guys work is they are drawing and utilizing the energy and the power of the unknown, right? Which is that you've seen it before, but we'll probably put another thing of it. Yeah, where we have the kind of creation in the center, and then we have the first ring of chaos, then the unknown around it, second ring of chaos beyond, right? The unknown is all the crazy non-existence stuff, almost, is the best way I can phrase that. I don't know how to, like, the null, the void, that's where our Imura comes from and all that, right? And so these guys utilize that effectively, and because of that, the unknown manifests out of them as they get stronger. So it comes with these things that are drawbacks, but also have bonuses to them as the unknown manifests through them. And you're going to pick a single manifestation and keep it for your entire, run up through this. And each level, the manifestation will grow stronger. Both its positive and its negative will have a greater effect as you level up. So it's going to grow with you.
Yeah.
Which I think is going to be super cool. I love good drawbacks. They're awesome. I love Oracle Curses in Pathfinder. I love picking trait drawbacks for characters. Good drawbacks just make stuff so interesting and entertaining. Anybody who watches our Tuesday campaign knows that I love my weird drawback that I creep people out with my Shadow. It's like perfect. I was like, yeah, man, I disturb people, I weird them out, and that was one of the things I had thought of when we were doing this too, is that these guys, since they have the unknown kind of flowing and filtering through them, maybe we have a disturbing presence thing where people are kind of wigged out when they're around this guy, but this guy also, it makes it harder to see this guy because people actively don't want to see them because they're creepy, or it's really easy to intimidate people because you're already just creepy.
Just like offset, off-putting. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
that you can't put your finger on it. There's just something off about him. Yeah.
Yep.
I think that was really the first like manifestation we kind of came up with, is like it probably like you get like lose some dice to like most of your social rolls, but you'll gain them in like the stealthy stuff and like intimidation. You'll get that penalty becomes a bonus. So yeah, they'll have that kind of stuff where it's just, it basically, we called it manifestation because it's how that tie to the unknown manifests in this character.
Yep.
And lore-wise / in society, these are not people who, you can't just like practice this. You can't just be like, oh, I'm just gonna go like learn how to manipulate the unknown. It's a habit or you don't kind of thing, like being a sorcerer or anything else where it's like it's in your blood sort of deal. It is. I can tell you in world, it's not something that they can track. It isn't like it's hereditary or anything like that. There's no real reliable way to be like, oh, this person's probably going to have these abilities. It just happens.
Yeah.
The only thing that's even remotely tied is that the Emir are more likely to have it. That heritage is more likely to have it.
Which makes sense because it's all connected to the unknown. So
exactly, and so, but they're pretty rare, and there is a group right now just calling it the Agency that seeks them out and pretty much employs them and gives them work, and they kind of watch each other's back and that sort of thing. Because when you can do things like make people forget you exist or be effectively invisible by, wrapping yourself in a thin layer of the unknown so that people's brains just fill in things that aren't you in that space.
Yep.
It's harder to trust you. And so...
Yeah, or if you just have that presence that makes people vaguely uncomfortable around you. It's hard to, like, be chill and vibe with that guy because you're like, I don't know what it is about him, but every time I'm around him, I feel like somebody's going to stab me, and it's probably going to be him.
Yes.
And it's like, yeah, you just don't want that guy.
And so they're those manifestations, especially the drawback part of them, plays a lot into, you can RP your character however you want to RP it, but like their place in the world, it definitely is going to play into their like either being kind of reclusive or otherwise drawn to the Agency because they're around people that are like them, and they can, to an extent, they can trust them because they're all sort of in it together. But on the flip side of that, the reason you can be a shadow who is church affiliated or council affiliated or college affiliated or whatever is because obviously if someone manifests these type of powers, they're going to want to keep them. Like,
yeah. You hold on to that.
Holy
guy.
shit.
You don't steal your golden goose,
Yeah, they're going to be like, let's try to train them up, make them loyal, keep them away from the Agency so we can actually have some of these people who can do that kind of thing on our side. So you can come from anywhere. You don't have to be affiliated with the Agency. You don't have to know they exist. But like, that's sort of their place in the world. Back to their features, the other thing is they get tricks, which are basically like minor invocation things rather than what an invoker can do, which is use more than like the simple invocations. And then getting class features to help bolster and augment that ability. These will be predefined. Like things they can do that very much mimic invocations, but they're more specific and limited, and they will still cost tuners.
Yeah, they're gonna be things like pushing suggestions or memory lapse style things where you make somebody forget a round or things like that. So they're not gonna be super powerful, like full on invoking, but they're gonna be really useful, and they're gonna be better than just the very basic bare bones. Like I can't do much other than this super limited thing.
Yeah, so they'll be very useful,
but they're gonna be pretty specific. I think that's the main thing that we really want to get across is they're gonna be a list to work from more than like where invokers kind of have a very broad spectrum of stuff they can do. this is going to be a much more targeted list of things.
Yeah, it's very, very specific. And then finally, null presence is if... So basically, a shadow is not going to be noticed passively. Like, if no one's looking for them or they don't draw attention to themselves, they just go unnoticed. It's just how their presence works. Unless they want to be noticed. They can will themselves to be more present, more in the creation space, so that people will notice them normally. Not that it draws attention to themselves. That might be a manifestation or something we do. But, or a trick. Yeah, sorry. When someone's actively searching for them, then the Seeker is going to lose dice to that check. If the shadow kind of goes to the more active version of this, which doesn't take an action or anything. It's just like, yeah, I don't want anybody to see me. Cool. They look for you, they're going to have a penalty of, they're going to have a 1 die penalty, and then 2, and then 3, and 4. They're just going to keep, as you level up, it keeps going up.
Yeah.
All the way to 5 die penalty at 9th. So, it just makes it harder for them to notice you outside of anything like making a stealth roll or any of that stuff. It's just a straight
this is just
penalty.
Naturally, you don't fit into the real space of creation well, and so it's easy to go unnoticed.
Yeah. And the whole, like, wrapping yourself in the unknown and stuff is a totally separate deal. Like, probably a trick or something. That probably makes that just not necessary for the moment, but...
Well, yeah, but I mean, the tricks are, gonna be...
But they're limited.
Limited, yeah. Like, this is
just all the time.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, null presence is forever.
You just have that whenever you're doing anything. Man, it's gonna be great not getting... When, you guys are at camp, and it's not your watch, and you're sleeping, and somebody sneaks past your friend who fell asleep on watch and goes to attack you guys, and they just don't even notice that you're in a sleeping bag. They just walk right by you and just start attacking other people. And you get to jump up and be like, "Oh shit!" Stab.
Yeah, which arguably that's their most powerful ability, arguably. Yeah. Because like when we say you can't be noticed passively, it's like if you're going to a place where you otherwise blend in, like there's no real reason for anyone to pay attention to you. They just don't notice you.
Yeah, you're just part of the wallpaper, man.
Doing something you're not supposed to, so like, let's say you fuck around and you have some people after you or whatever, and they go asking around to see if anyone's seen you. Chances are nobody's seen you as long as you didn't do anything.
Yep.
Because they just never noticed you. They won't find you. So yeah,
you drop on some people at a bar. Cool. Pull up a chair at the table next to them. You can sit as close to their conversation as you want. Really, they probably aren't going to notice you unless you bump into them.
Yeah, let's like bump into them or wave your arms and shriek or something. Yeah. Like, if you're just kind of blending in, you will blend in. So they're very difficult to track. They're very difficult to keep track of, and it's if you kind of imagine it even just realistically. It is very easily to lose track of a person like that as well. Granted, once you've been noticed, you've been noticed. Like they can do that, but like it's still going to be such a
fun enemy character to make. To have a party have to track down a shadow. It's going to be a good quest line.
Yeah. I think the first time anyone does that, it's going to be immediately obvious why there's a whole agency of these and they're so valuable.
Oh, yeah.
And why it's so easy to lose them. Like it's a concentrated effort to be like, oh, this person has this stuff. We need to get them on our side now, because if they decide to go elsewhere, they're gone.
Yep. Never seen that guy again. Not unless they want us to.
So I think that's going to be really cool. And I think people are going to kick out of playing them as well.
Oh, yeah.
And then, we didn't actually start the Stitcher. Just, it's on the agenda. It's probably going to take getting our Monster Maker done before we can, actually detail that one.
Yeah, I am calling it now, but I think this is going to be my favorite class we make. I know
I was just...
Yeah, dude, I've been raving about the Shadow and the Pilgrim and whatever. Just calling it out, just off of aesthetics, just off of what it does. This is gonna be my favorite class.
Well, I can tell you, Stitcher. So the thing I'm writing is called Invoker, but the main character Henry, he's gonna technically be multi-classed if we were to stat him out. He's gonna be
Right.
Stitcher Invoker, starting off as a Stitcher because he's like works there. But yeah, Stitcher's gonna be cool. They're kind of gonna be our healer stand-in, but also you can make like a cool undead golem thingy, or turn
I like to
yourself
think
into
of
the
them
cool undead golem.
kind of
thingy.
like an alchemist in that way, where they have some healing abilities, but then they have like utility abilities. They're going to work kind of like an alchemist, which is also one of my favorite classes. So I'm not surprised that I'm like this right here. I love this guy.
Yeah, I think Stitcher's gonna be dope. But yeah, we'll get to that in the next episode. I think for now we're good to wrap.
Sure.
Next one will be next month, and we'll get the other class done, and all the other classes we've come up with so far require us to have done other things. So we'll talk between stuff and figure out what else will be on the agenda for next episode. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this.
It'll be good. Yeah, we've got a lot of work to do, but I mean, come along for the ride. It's gonna be a blast.
Cool. Till next time. Bye.
Bye, everybody.